weeks just keep getting wackier and busier and more insane. It's a new Loftus party. It's a new episode of the podcast. We're glad you're here. It's just been trauma. It's just been drama and trauma and flying all over the country and medical procedures. But this is how important you guys are. This is how damned important you are to the future of our nation. We got a gypsy with a bad wing here. Give me an update. What's going on? What can we expect?
Maybe a cough here and there, and I basically feel like I've been punched in the throat, but we'll get through it.
That's the dedication. Mm-hmm. That's 110% coming at you from across the country in gypsy territory. With me, a wackadoodle. It's a mixed blessing. I was invited to be on Fox and Friends. How do you say no when they tell you it's going to be a live studio audience? We want to have you on the couch. It was so Thursday I flew out to New York. And it's a little bit of a story all unto itself. It was raining in Los Angeles. Traffic was horrible. I gave myself plenty of time, I thought. You know how you go to those kiosks to check in? Mm-hmm. So I missed the cutoff by literally a minute. So a dude from Alaska, I don't fly Alaska Airlines ever. This was a travel agent booked this, whatever. So a guy comes over to help me out because I got that look on my face, that holy crap look on my face.
Right.
And he goes, "Where are you trying to get to?" I go, "New York." I think I don't know why it told me I had to speak to a gate agent. He looks at his little iPad. He goes, "Oh, no, that flight's running late. You'll be fine. Just go over there," and he points, "and talk to her." So there's one lady, and there's like two people in line. I go get in the line. Mm-hmm. The person that she's helping, it's like a classic air travel horror story. The person that she's talking with and trying to help, she's not fired up. You can see there's no sense of urgency on her part, and it's taking a million years. So she looks up and tells the two people in line plus myself, "Hey, you can go over there. There's another gate agent." She points over, and I go, "Where?" And she goes, "Right there by that brown wall. That guy." So I know who she's talking about. I go up. I go over. I get in line to talk to that guy, and he's flying through the people pretty quick. He finally gets to me, and he goes, "So how can I help you? You have any bags?" And I go, "Yeah, I got one bag going to JFK." He goes, "Oh, this is just bag check. I can't rebook anybody. I can't." I'm like, "Well, no. My flight, it's running late. They did this, they did that." He goes, "I can't do that here. I literally don't have that software. I cannot help you. You need to go talk to her." And he points over to the woman who just told me to come talk to him. And now the line is like 15 people deep.
Well.
So I missed my initial flight to New York. Got on another flight, they put me in this, they didn't do it. This is my travel people. They put me in this wackadoodle hotel. You ever been in one of those little, I don't even know what they call them. It's like it's almost like a nightclub motel. They've done this.
Did it have the doors on the outside?
What do you mean?
Like, those ones that have the doors on the outside and you walk down like a porch and open the door and go into your room. It's not like indoors.
No, this is some
God.
like super chic Manhattan. It was like on 44th Street, and it's one of those hotels where it's not marked as a hotel. There's like these just two big red doors, and then you open it up, and there's like electronica playing, and there's people sitting around having drinks, and you're like, "Is this even a hotel?" And then some person who's like not wearing like any kind of hotel uniform is like, "Are you checking in?" And you're like, I guess I am.
So.
Like, yeah. So
no,
it
the
was
only
ultra
place
modern.
I've seen something like that is in France.
Yeah.
Where you walk in and you're not sure you're in the right place.
It would have been awesome if I was like on vacation and I just wanted to see New York, but it was like very off-putting. So long story short, I got like 3 hours of sleep, then went in to do Fox and Friends, and it was an absolute hoot. It was hilarious and fun. The green room was packed. I met Diamond and Silk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I met that kid from Growing Pains, who's
The
like
kid from growing.
he makes the Christian movies now.
Oh,
Kirk
Kurt.
Cameron.
Yeah, Kurt Cameron.
I met some terrorism expert. It was a crazy packed green room. The show, the Fox and Friends, they got to stick with the live studio audience. That was the most fun. That was the most fun, and it was a great experience. Super fun. Then it starts snowing like all hell.
Oh
And
dear.
Steve, yeah, and Kilmeade, we're on a break, and Kilmeade's like, so don't you have a show tonight? I go, yeah, I'm in Evansville, Indiana, and then Steve Ducey's like, where are you flying out of? And I'm like, LaGuardia, and he looks outside, and he goes, my flight just got canceled. Ducey was supposed to go down to Florida for a family trip. He's like, my flight just got canceled, and then that Ainsley Earhart girl, she's like, I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico. I'm not going. It's too crazy now. And so, sure enough, my flight gets bumped. I'm gonna miss my connecting flight. I
Oh
go
dear.
back to the super chic, super cool kids hotel. I'm on the phone with Delta. That was a nightmare. The automated system was a nightmare. Finally getting a hold of a person. Then I have to race over to JFK and blah, 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 blah. Then I fly through Detroit. I barely make my connection. We get to Evansville. And Terrence Williams, that guy's been hit by a car. He's not going anywhere. Like he's got a broken neck. He's not going to make the show. The girls in the deplorable choir, they couldn't make the show. Their flights were all jacked up. It's
No
like, like
way.
what, as soon as one airport goes down, they all start going down.
Right.
So it's me and Brian Hayner. And so Steve
That's it?
McGrew is
Where's
flying.
McGrew?
McGrew's flying in. Mudflap is flying in from Denver. He made it all the way to Chicago before his flights started getting
Oh
delayed. So
dear.
now I'm on stage and I'm just going. I'm just going for about a half an hour, 40 minutes. Then Brian Hayner comes up. He does like a half an hour, and then McGrew had finally made it. So we take a little intermission so people could go get something to drink and do whatever. McGrew, Mudflap, God bless that guy. He like literally comes from the airport. We open up the stage door, and he practically went directly onto the stage. So that we did a show at all was miraculous. Was
Right.
miraculous. So then we had rented the tour. The producers had rented a cargo van, and we load up all our stuff the next day, and just like drove like 7 hours to Dubuque. And let me tell you something about Dubuque. That's one of my new favorite towns
Really?
in the Middle West. Oh my gosh, that place, the downtown Dubuque is hopping. They got all these cool little bars. Every building is like older, but has like some cool mural painted on the side of it. Like they are making it's fantastic. Like they're making their own fun in Dubuque. We played in this historic theater built in like 1910 or something, the Five Flags Theater. Everybody came out to the show. I have to think if it wasn't sold out, we missed it by like two people. It was nuts. It was nuts. The show was just insane. It was so far like Nashville was crazy good, Cleveland was crazy good, and Dubuque, holy smokes, it was amazing. It was probably the best show of the tour.
So Bill Maher is completely wrong, and people in rural America and red states are actually kind of fun?
Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. Like and it was good. Like we go back to the hotel afterwards, and we had done the meet and greet, and it was just so much fun, and just laughing, and everybody's like, thank you. It's good when people are like, thank you for coming, thank you for doing this. It was so great to go out and not feel bad about who we voted for, and not to feel bad because we want less government, and not feel
Mm-hmm.
people are sick of being demonized, and people had people had driven in from Chicago, people had driven in from Kansas City. We met a lot of really, really just awesome people and just had an absolute blast. And I didn't know this, and maybe I'm talking out of school, but like Brian Hayner, this amazing comedian, guitarist, his son is the lead guitarist for this band, Avenged Sevenfold. And what?
I'm having a total fan moment.
Oh, really?
I love those guys.
Are you kidding me?
No, I want backstage passes. I want tickets.
I will listen. I'll get you. I'll hook you up. I'll hook you
Oh,
up.
they are some of. Oh my God. Yes, I
Yeah.
love them.
So
They're some
like,
of my serious octane boys.
yeah. So Brian's son is he's one of the members and the founders and whatever. He's in Avenged Sevenfold, and Brian and his son they have this guitar school, this online thing. It's a free online, like how to play guitar, and how to learn how to shred and play metal and all this wonderful stuff. Every show we get all these like kids showing up in Avenged Sevenfold t-shirts, and they're just totally like you just had that reaction. They're like, "It's so good to meet you, Brian Hayner. I can't believe it." It's a very cool mix.
Oh
It's a
no.
very
Like,
cool mix of people.
when are you guys coming to Atlanta?
Soon, soon. I will tell you this.
Because I get tickets and backstage for that too, I think.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We're in the process now. I got some phone calls and stuff and to make, and there's a bunch of wonderful things that are happening. There's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of wonderful things that are happening. So I'm stoked about that. So that's my giant preamble to holy smoke, it was a busy week, and I kind of dropped the ball in terms of I watched like very little news. Very little news. Every moment of every day was just taken. And then I was going to upload a video to YouTube. I was going to try to shoot something. I open up my laptop, and because I was hurrying out the door, I had no way to power my laptop. I left the power cables at home. So I kind of like, you know what, Monday when I'm back, it'll be a really busy day. We'll do the podcast. Gypsy and I will record something and get it to Kung Fu Rick. And then in the afternoon, I'll make my phone calls, and then I'll put a new video on YouTube, and I'll write a cool story for theloftusparty.com. So today is catch-up day. Here's all I know in terms of the news. I guess Trump did a speech at CPAC that was kind of fun. So I know that happened. I
He
know that
hugged the flag. That seemed to really bother the left.
He's done that before, where
I
he hugs
know,
the
they're
flag.
so ridiculous. But, earlier in the week we had Michael Cohen go and tell Congress absolutely nothing new.
Yeah, I would. I was talking about that on Fox and Friends,
Yep.
just about how this guy's story changes so often. He's like Gollum from Lord of the Rings,
He's
and
a
like,
convicted perjurer.
yeah, yeah,
like, I'm watching pieces of it and just laughing. I don't know what else to do.
yeah. Well, it's like James Comey. It's it's a reboot of James Comey,
Mm-hmm.
where he's done something where he's offended a bunch of people. So now he's like, okay, I have one way out of this. I need to sell a lot of books, and hopefully the book will get turned into a movie, and I'll still be interesting enough where I'll be the subject of interviews in the future. So you just have to kind of flip a coin and go, I'm going to go hardcore Democrat. I'm just going to try to make the left happy. I'm going to say these bombastic things that's going to make these people hopefully love me. And that's what he's doing. He's laying it all out there. I know I said Trump wasn't a racist, but boy, you know what he is. He is. And he never told me what to say, but he'd give me secret messages. He'd give me these looks where I knew. So the guy's going to do jail time. Say what?
It's like, yeah, just stop. Shh. Quiet now. Stop.
I know, but it's like it's just so utterly predictable, and the people know what he's doing. The people know it when Comey was doing it, and the people know it when Andrew McCabe is doing it. So it's just, here's the interesting thing that I thought. I guess when Trump was doing his speech at CPAC, CNN MSNBC, all those guys, they didn't cover it. Instead, they covered the Bernie Sanders rally in Brooklyn.
Well, couple things. During Cohen's testimony, did you see what Rashida Tlaib did?
I did not. I did not. That she's a frightening woman.
Well, there was behind Mark Meadows, Representative Mark Meadows, there was an African American woman sitting who has worked for the Trump organization for, I believe, 2 decades.
Yeah.
And when Mark Meadows referred to her, Rashida Tlaib told him to stop using her as a token.
Oh
That
yeah.
woman
I
had wanted to come and speak. I'm like, why would you why would you say that when it was her choice to be there? I mean, that's just maddening.
Yeah. Yeah. And she goes, it's the most racist thing. It's the most racist
No,
thing.
maybe the most racist thing is you saying that someone's a token and trying to silence their voice when they were the ones that wanted to come and talk.
Yeah. I guess Rashida
She's
Tlaib
gross.
apologized for that off camera.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she and her little compadres there are getting really good at apologizing, except for Alexandra. I call her best supporting actress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She doesn't apologize. You criticize that girl, and she just freaks out.
Well, and that is the classic. It really is like the classic young socialist, the classic young revolutionary, where they are going to tell, like, I'm on the side of right. I have the moral high ground. You're an idiot for even suggesting I'm wrong. I'm in charge. Do what I
I'm the
say.
boss.
I'm the boss. And then they keep lists like, here's someone who made me
Oh,
mad on
that
my
was
rise
great.
to power. I'm gonna get them. She is the poster child for the scary young revolutionary. People get hurt in revolutions, and I'm sorry, but we have to. It's yeah.
Did you see
She's
the
becoming quite
articles
frightening.
about the closed door meetings where she did threaten to put moderates on a list?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, it was so funny. So, Republicans got the Democrats this week. Did you miss that?
I missed everything.
Okay, so
I missed everything.
so Democrats in the House, they own the shop now, right? They
Yeah.
decide to put forth their universal background check legislation, which had a whole bunch of other garbage in it that was just literally unnecessary. Rep Dan Crenshaw did a great video about it. And things like if a gun was registered to you and your roommate or your girlfriend used it in defense of themselves inside your home, they could get in trouble. It was this
Wow.
kind of legislation, right?
Wow.
So
Okay.
the Republicans used a procedural move to add to the legislation. So it's not part of the amendment process, it's part of what's called a motion to recommit. And it's
Mm-hmm.
done right before, and it doesn't have to be submitted in advance. So they do a motion to recommit to add that if an illegal immigrant attempts to purchase a gun, they'll be reported to ICE.
Ha
It
ha.
divided the Democratic caucus because the moderates, like people who were elected around me here in the greater Atlanta area,
Yeah.
voted with the Republicans. Over 2 dozen Democrats voted for the motion to recommit, so they just round filed the legislation. And
Well,
so
good.
Nancy Pelosi and Alexandria Ocasio Cortez in this closed door meeting got totally ticked off, trying to tell you need to hang it, you need to ignore these things, you need to. And I'm sitting there going, it seems to me these freshman Democrats from moderate districts are smarter than y'all. They can't ignore those kinds of things. They have to run again.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not their names aren't etched in stone on the
No,
Congressional Hall of Fame.
some of them really shouldn't have won. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So there now there's a fight apparently between Pelosi and her 2 lieutenants because um, her 2 lieutenants are saying we've got to give these moderates some latitude. These are the people that got us the majority. I mean, everybody needs to realize Alexandria Ocasio Cortez and Rashida Tlaib and Ayanna Pressley don't represent new Democratic seats. Those are old Democratic seats that have been Democratic for decades. A lot of these folks represent new Democratic seats that had either been lost or that have been gained, and they're coming from moderate districts. If your
Yeah.
party continues to be dragged to the left, those moderate districts are going to disappear.
Well, that's the gamble right now. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, keep going left, and then America is going to be terrified of your socialist nature, and you'll be unelectable, and you'll all go away.
Well,
Uh,
they
my
already
my my
lost.
concern is like a lot of people seem to be cool with socialism. That's always my worry that someone will get on stage and they'll be in front of the cameras and like, well, this is just socialism and this is terrifying, and a vast number of Americans will go, it's okay with us, we're cool with that. Medicare for
Actually,
all, man. I want free college.
poll of registered voters. Supposedly, the two least popular things you can be, as far as the general electorate to include independents, are
Yeah.
over 75 and a socialist.
Yay.
So the
That's
polling
good
came back.
news.
Well, it was again, Michael, they're ignoring us. They put out some new poll again, people 18 to 24, people 25 to 39, then they totally skip Gen X, and then they do boomers and the silent generation.
Yeah.
And so that graph looks evenly split. They never put people our age in the graph. So
I,
it's very misleading.
It is. It is. It's crazy. Like I stayed up late last night, as late as I could. I was super tired, watching the rerun of Sunday with Chris Wallace, and Chris Wallace is
Mm-hmm.
talking about they were acting like gun legislation passed. They're like, oh, Congress passed this
No,
amazing gun bill,
nope,
and
the
now it go.
Republicans stopped it. And that's the second time they've done that to the Democrat caucus, and Nancy's getting a little upset.
Well, good, good. And then the other thing is like that there was like this they were trying to put this horrible spin on the North Korean talks, and I'm like, I don't see the negatives. I don't see the downside there at all. So Trump goes over there and meets with Little Kim, and Little Kim is like, well, here's what we're going to give up. And Donald Trump's like, well, if you give up more, you're going to get all this great stuff. And then Little Kim said, well, we're not gonna do that. And Trump goes, okay, well, then we will talk to you later. Like that seems like the
Um,
big takeaway. It wasn't like some epic fail. It's like, okay, I'm gonna try doing this. Like I don't see where the epic fail part of it was. That's
well,
like the
he
Democrat
couldn't win.
talking point.
He couldn't win. When he went over for the talks, the dumbest talking point I heard was that he was doing the talks with Kim to overshadow the Cohen testimony. It's like, no, this was scheduled way before the Cohen testimony, and I think scheduling the Cohen testimony during a presidential foreign policy visit was about as low as you can go, Elijah Cummings, but you do you. Um, so that was like the first thing that like that just doesn't make any sense.
Just real
So
quick, Elijah Cummings. How hilarious was that guy during the Michael Cohen thing? Because like at one point, I forget who it was, some Republican asked Michael Cohen, so what did you and Adam Schiff talk about before your testimony? And you're like, what?
what?
And then Cohen's like, well, we discussed, topics and what just do Mark Meadows is like, wait a minute, so Adam Schiff was coaching you about what you were going to talk about, and man, Lewis was quick on the buzzer. Your time has expired. Your time has expired. It's like as soon as somebody got to some real juiciness, Lewis is like, your time has expired. He was like right on the clock. I found that to be hilarious, scary and hilarious. But continue. I interrupted.
Well, then so it became that Trump was going to be so desperate to have positive press because of Cohen's testimony that he was going to give away the farm to North Korea, and supposedly many experts were concerned about it. Of course, none of them were on TV, just the people who knew of the many experts that were never interviewed, but that's the way it goes. Then he doesn't do that, and he's still wrong.
Yeah,
So
it's
there is no winning with these people. There's just not.
there really isn't. There really isn't. And then I saw then one of the other things that they covered is like oh, who's the jerk from CNN? Jim Acosta. Uh, Jim Acosta. So I guess Trump has taken questions, and Jim Acosta goes on to CNN and he's like, well, he wouldn't talk to the American press. He only, it was very scary to see the way he selectively chose, blah blah blah. And then they run down a list of everyone that Trump took questions from, and it was like the New York
It
Times,
was
the
like
Washington
everybody but
Post, like
Acosta.
everybody. He spoke to everybody with the exception of Jim Acosta.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
fake news, fake
Fake
news.
news. There you go. Um, yeah, no, it was just I'm like watching the whole thing go down, and I'm like, this is just getting to the point of exhausting.
It is. It
Like
is. And it's got
how
you got to find some way to recharge your batteries.
well, how many times can you watch something like that go on where the breathless, oh my God, he didn't call on any U.S. press, and then the correction, and that gets like 50 million retweets, right? Just on
Yes.
social media. So that goes viral. And then the correction, oh, actually, he talked to the New York Times, he talked to the Post, he talked to, that gets like 4 retweets.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
it's
It is
exhausting.
this. I find this interesting. This is but it's I checked into the hotel in Dubuque, and a guy comes up to me. He recognized me, and he and his wife and his friend and his friend's wife, they came in from Kansas City. A very cool dude.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, thanks for making the drive. And this goes to the exhausting nature of the fake news and all this stuff. But this guy's like, we're talking about, the show and why we're doing the show, and it really is like people have to come together. And that's it's like the noble part of, like, first of all, I love telling jokes. I'm going to do that regardless.
Well, that's
And
your
however,
job.
I love that I can tell jokes about politics in a room full of people who are like-minded. That's
Hmm.
that's the dream come true. But this guy's like, well, because we're talking about being inundated with false or misleading news, and like what we're just talking about, the thing that gets a million retweets. And he's like, well, what do we do? Like, what do we do? And I go, we do this. We start by talking to one another. Okay, you're not crazy. I'm not crazy. And then let's spread the word and we'll tell other people. So literally, this is the solution. Just talking about it and reaching out to other people and meeting new folks. And right now that they do have the control of, they, CNN and the legacy media and all that stuff. But when people start tweeting that, it's the wonderful thing. This is kind of interesting too. I'm not a big Q person. I'm not a, I don't
Yeah,
really,
no.
yeah. However, the guy who created the video game Minecraft,
Hmm.
this Swedish dude, he recently, I think his name is Notch, his Twitter handle. He came out over the weekend and said Q is real, and boy howdy, that guy has a huge reach on Twitter, and people jumped on him like flies on a pile of crap, and just viciously attacking the guy. And he's like, when I say Q is real, here's what I mean. First of all, someone is tweeting this stuff. Someone has the account, so that person is real. And then the second part is it's making people dig. Like the wonderful, like there's side effects of Trump, and then there's the wonderful side effect of Q is whoever's doing that account is like, well, look up, dig, investigate on your own, and by having it's wonderful, like citizen journalists, and hopefully the citizen journalists will do a better job than the legacy media of actually looking up. Well, here's what this person did. Here's how they voted. But here's the business interest that might be influencing them. I really dig it. I want Q to get more and more popular. I don't think there's like secret messages. It's like people who thought John Lennon was sending them secret messages in Beatles music. I don't think that's happening, but I
Yeah,
really
no.
dig the idea of people sitting around their laptops and their computers and going, I'm going to look up this thing, and then you discover the truth. I think it's wonderful. I
Well,
think it's
that's what
great.
That's what I'm doing with the Green New Deal and the funding of the various organizations and how we get kids in Dianne Feinstein's office. And we've tracked down quite a few of the deep pockets, and we're going to be putting it out there.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
I think that's wonderful. It's like when Dan Rather went after Bush for trying to get out of combat missions or whatever, and then it was just some dude or some girl sitting around their laptop, and they discovered no, that type font wasn't used in that year, and that's that's just a good citizen right there
Hmm.
coming in to save the day. I'll take as many of those as you got. Thank goodness,
Two,
but you have a format. You
right.
have help, and people can read your stuff and find your stuff. Your articles are wonderful and well researched and well thought out. They're great, and you can read that at the Resurgent. Hopefully I didn't step out of bounds,
No,
but
no, no, that's fine. Two other people that I think personally, well, three other people actually that I think do great work are AG Conservative. Um, he actually tracks every week the media's biggest mistakes
yeah,
and where they're erroneous in their coverage, and he does a fantastic job of that.
awesome.
Andy No, and he's Mr. Andy No, and Geo is how you spell his last name on Twitter. He does fabulous work. And a young man named Tim Pool, also
Yeah, I've heard of
fantastic.
Tim. I've heard of
Hmm.
Tim.
You can find him at Timcast. And I follow all of them um, quite closely because you see things there that you don't see anywhere else.
And that's the wonderful thing. And so I really dig, and that's where I kind of want to be, like helping the cross pollination
Hmm.
of all of this stuff, because that's where it is. It's strength in numbers, and like, okay, so this person's doing something wonderful over there. Okay, I'm gonna help you find it over here, and just literally, it's got to be like a little mini spider web of, oh, I went to the loftusparty.com and I found out about this thing at the Resurgent, and then I discovered this thing, and this piece of information or this piece of comedy. It's all wonderful. It's all wonderful and good. I'm in a very optimistic place right now. I'm
Well,
in a very
it seems like Dubuque put you in a very good mood.
It did. It really it no it really did. There's tons of us. There's
Hmm.
tons of us, and these are insanely fun people.
Hmm.
Like just seeing them rolling around the hotel after the show, and they're being very cool, but they're coming up and they're like sincere, like thank you for doing this. Like they have the relief on their face, and
Hmm.
people are sending us over shots of Fireball, and people are buying us
Ew,
drinks, and
Fireball.
hey, we're having fun.
Oh
It
no, no, no!
literally.
I get it. It's just that's like cough syrup.
Oh, I listen. I'm not gonna pass. I'm not gonna pass judgment on anybody. I think it was like a comedic. Hey, we're gonna buy you a shot of Fireball, and then I want to give a shout out to Paul's Tavern. Here's the other.
Okay.
This is Paul's Tavern in Dubuque. This is the second one. I'm compiling a list. I'm compiling a list of like the fun hot spots across the country. It's something else that I want to do with. It was actually the original intention of the loftusparty.com to help people out with like, oh my God, okay, so I'm going to, Iowa. Where's a fun place to hang out? Well, if you go to Dubuque, you definitely want to go to Paul's Tavern because it is rocking. It is a rocking good time. There's a bunch of cool clubs there. And I want to compile that nationwide. So if you've got a cool hangout, if you've got a cool bar, a great place that hasn't really been discovered yet, let us know at theloftusparty.com. You can actually sign in now and post.
The gypsy figured it out.
The gypsy figured it out. The
You know
gypsy
what gave
figured it.
me hope
What?
this week?
What?
Okay, I have a totally new political crush. You know how I was
Okay.
kind of crushing on Mick Mulvaney when he was doing all those great videos about spending and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff? Um, I think Representative Dan Crenshaw is just amazing.
That's not a new crush for you. I'm glad that you're finally saying it out loud, but like I follow you on Twitter and you've been fangirling on him for quite a while.
He
You,
is so, like, so much common sense.
yeah,
Like, and he totally gets, he had an hour-long interview with Ben Shapiro this week on Ben Shapiro's weekly little podcast that he does, interview show.
yeah.
And Dan did most of the talking. And when he starts talking about where the GOP fails to market, where we're not talking about the right stuff on immigration, how we need to be talking about climate change. Of course, it's just like what you said and what we've always said. Of course, we want clean air, clean water, clean oceans, right? We don't want to destroy the economy. So it's just if more people like him and that think like him and can just boil those issues down to layman's terms,
Yeah,
would get out and run for office. Good God, I think we could win.
I really do. And helping those people spread the message and supporting
Mm-hmm.
those people who for whatever reason are great communicators
Right.
and that's one of the things that I think is strong about the comedy tour, that there's jokes there, but it's also it feels like common sense, but I guess it's like Reagan said, none of this life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it's not in our DNA. It's just not automatically passed down. You have to constantly remind
Mm-hmm.
people about the wonderful nature of this insane experiment the founding fathers launched, and you got to talk it up. You got to talk it up, because if you look around, other governments aren't doing so well. Other people don't have the wonderful things that we have, and if you're
No.
not careful, you'll go full on socialist. You'll go the way of Venezuela. And I'm paraphrasing this, but I think it's awesome. It really resonated with me. The people of Venezuela voted for that. They voted for
Yes.
Hugo
Well,
Chavez. They're
yep,
like,
the first
okay,
time.
yeah. They're like, this sounds great. Yeah. Let's take the money from those greedy people. Let's split up the oil revenues and we'll all be awesome. And then Hugo Chavez, well, he made some changes. Then you voted him in and he made some changes. And then you're like, uh-oh, we don't like this. And then the people of Venezuela, they don't have a Second Amendment. And then there was nothing they could do. So with socialism, you vote your way in, but you end up having to shoot your way out. And a
Pretty
lot of
much.
people get hurt. A lot of
Well.
people get hurt. So let's be very, very, very aware of that. And let's be very, very aware that there's the legacy media, the mainstream media, these they're for this, and they've chosen sides, and they're down with it, and they don't care. They just want to get that message out, like the Oscars, and it's girl power, and they're gonna really hurt some big movies with girl power. Here's the American people are so smart, and they know when they're being force fed a message, and that's why Star Wars, the latest one, was an epic fail, and
Well,
but they're going to continue to do it.
that wasn't true to the stories. It wasn't. I mean, I'm nowhere near as deep into the Star Wars universe as you are, and when Princess Leia was flying through space, I'm like, what in God's name is that?
Well, the good news is there is and I want it to succeed because I am such a huge fan. Evidently, J.J. Abrams secretly brought in George Lucas for a
Good,
consult.
good call.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Mark Hamill is shooting some stuff. So
I thought
I'm
he was dead.
well. I tell you what,
In
J.J. Abrams,
flashbacks?
we might. You've got flashbacks. You've got Jedi showing up as ghosts. All
Oh,
that other
that's true.
stuff. But as much as Ryan Johnson threw everything JJ created under the bus in his movie, we might be in dream territory here. We might be where where
Where the
the
whole
third
thing
movie
gets
starts with
rescued?
with Ray like waking up like, what, I just had a horrible dream. I had a vision of the future. It could all go bad. And then Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker says, well, let's begin your training. Like, he could really, you could do that.
Well,
You could hopefully I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll actually find out what some of those characters were even supposed to mean.
Exactly. Who
But,
was Smoke? What's going on? They're doing their best to force this message down our throat, which leads me to this. I vacillate wildly. Like I was super worried about Captain Marvel.
still am.
Then I saw some of the trailers and I'm like, okay, I think it's going to be okay. Then I go back the other way where like they're recutting the movie. It's not testing well. It's not testing well, so they keep recutting it. And I'm like, uh-oh,
Not
well,
a
maybe
good
they're going to
sign.
fix it in the edit. But now I'm worried. Like, who was the girl that had the tweet you were talking about? Like, white guys
I
don't
don't
come to
even
see the movie.
remember who it was because it was just some rando Twitter person, but it was like, I stand with girls and girl power, and we don't need to hear from you white men about this girl power superhero movie. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm an anomaly, right? Our friend artist Angie, Lisa the Geek Mom, we're anomalies. We are emotionally invested in these movies.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I cried when Loki died. Okay?
yeah.
Tears.
He's he's
My
your
daughter's
he's your Dan
pointing at me and
Crenshaw of
like
science
gaping
fiction.
in the theater. I'm like, shut up. Um, you're inserting this character at the end of like 10 movies before the grand finale. First of all, I'm offended you would do that.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense to me to do that this late in the game. And
Yep.
now you're trying to make the message all about something that's not even true. Did you miss the Scarlet Witch? Did you miss Black Widow? Did you miss the Wasp? There have been strong female characters in this franchise the whole time.
That's the maddening thing about it. That's the maddening thing about it. When you start as a fan and you start going, okay, I think this is a mistake. I think you guys are making a mistake. Their default setting is like, well, you just don't like strong women. No,
No, I
I
really
absolutely love
do.
them. I love them when I've seen them in your movies. Like you just went down the list of really strong female characters that no one has a problem
Well,
with.
even
Stop
who was
saying
the
it's a fear
most,
of strong women.
other than Thanos, who's been the most powerful villain? Thor's sister.
Oh yeah, that was ooh, don't get me started there. That was a good look. That was a good look.
I
That's
mean,
that's
the powerful characters don't always have to be for good, but she
yeah,
was one heck of a powerful character.
it's 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 just madness when they wrap themselves up in a giant mistake. And hopefully they fixed it. Hopefully they went back and they did reshoots and they've cut it, but
And
I've said this to everyone who will listen. You cannot insert a new character in the third act of anything. A
nope.
stage play, a novel, a comic book, a movie. You can't have a new character come in and save the day. And I don't care if the movie's like, oh, but it flashes back to the late 1980s when like, I didn't meet her back then. I
No.
didn't meet her after. You're introducing a new character. She cannot save the day.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think that's probably the intention. But I mean, and these dumb women that are leaning onto the, oh look, it's our first female superhero. No, it's not.
It's madness. And there was
You're
there's
showing
this guy,
how dumb
Robot
you
Head.
are.
There's this great dude, this Australian guy, Robot Head, that I follow I subscribe to his channel on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And he just totally just wrecked the whole, just systematically just dissects it. Like no one has a problem with strong women. We never had. Like everyone enjoyed the movie Alien.
Yup.
Everyone loved watching Ripley be, and then Aliens, the sequel. We enjoyed it over and over. That Sigourney Weaver ran that franchise and did a pretty darn good job
Lara
until
Croft.
until she got political. Until she got political.
Right.
Everyone will say it was the third Alien movie that went off the rails. And that's when Sigourney Weaver, who had so much power over that franchise, she
Mm-hmm.
goes, I don't want guns. This is going to be an anti-gun movie. And that's was swing and a miss. Swing and a miss.
Well,
The instant you bring politics in it, just tell me a good story, entertain me. I
wasn't
don't
it
care who's doing it.
Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft?
I will take it. I will allow it.
Um, I don't understand. I swear to God, for this generation and this like version of the social justice warrior movement, history started yesterday about everything. And it's
Yes.
just you're like all you guys are doing is showing your absolute gaps in your education.
Yes, and then
Seriously.
and then all they can do, because history started yesterday and they have no awareness, then when you turn them on to something that historically happened, they immediately have to rip that person down and judge them by today's standards and make it horrible. And that's why, they're eating their own. It's like the whole Kevin Hart thing. He can't host the Oscars. Years ago, he said this. And then like we
John
we can't have
Wayne.
this statue up of Andrew Jackson because years ago he did this. Well, you're never going to win. You're never going to win by judging people from the 1700s by today's standards. It was a different world.
John Wayne, we're going to rename an airport.
Yeah, that's oh, that's a whole nother
It's
kettle of fish.
just exhausting.
It is
Like,
exhausting, and that's
let
why
me help
you
you.
get enough people, together, you get enough like-minded people together, then you got a little movement, and then you completely change the narrative, and then it's like the rules of debate. It's like the rules of debate. You got to be aggressive and set your own table, and then they're responding to what you're saying. As long as a political party, or as long as it's a political thing, like people who just want less government, be libertarian, conservative, whatever you want to tell you, we have to get together so that we can set the table and not be back on our feet. Oh, you have to defend this. Oh, you have to defend that. No, no. How about we do things this way and you defend that insanity that you're proposing? That will be the game changer. And that is all about starting a movement, getting people together, getting people motivated. That's what we got to do. That's the way out of this. And
We
it's
do
great.
have a couple of rules, though.
What are the rules?
No scolds. None.
No scolds. Yeah.
Like, I get so sick and tired of the right, like, eating its own in a different kind of way than the left does. Because the left has this system of indulgences, and if you apologize, we might take you back, and, all of that.
Yeah.
But on the right, like, I see people trashing Candace Owens or trashing this one or trashing that one because against some kind of purity test, right?
Yeah.
When I just want to scream, hey guys, if you don't figure out how to make provocateurs on your side okay, you're not going to win. Because I'm not going to go out and communicate like Candace Owens communicates. But when Candace Owens communicates the way she does, she's effective for a certain group of people.
Yes.
Do you
And
know what I mean?
that's
It.
why I've got my long history of defending Tommy Lahren. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Lahren does so much more good for people who want less government than she does bad. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry that she didn't stick to your particular talking point about bing bang bang, but like for the most part, keep going, Tommy. Rah rah rah, keep going. Keep going, Candace. Rah rah rah. Keep going, Charlie Kirk. Keep going, Steven Crowder. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I,
you don't, it's like the right doesn't understand. When Martin Luther King started talking, he was a provocateur. He made people angry, and he shocked establishment people. People we revere now were not necessarily revered when they were in the public eye. And
yeah.
I just don't understand. You're not forced to communicate that way. I'm not asking you to amplify these people. I'm asking you to let them help us build the tent.
Yes. And all you have to do is not attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do. Like when you're thinking about, okay, I'm in kind of a position of power. I have tens of thousands, if not millions, of followers, and you're one of these, all- uber conservative, uber right wing people. Like all you have to do is not send the tweet because
Is
it
just
is a
shut
way
up.
of it. It's like a social justice warrior thing. It is like a, ooh, look how smart I am. I'm so smart. I even attack people who are on my own side. It's like
Nope.
it's self-serving, it's BS, and ultimately it drags everyone down. It drags everyone backwards. And then the left, they're so eager to jump on this. Ooh, even the people on the right are attacking. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, no.
It's
It
not good
it's
for anybody.
if you want this is my rule, and I didn't even know what my rule was until I was kind of forced to articulate it. I will happily discuss an idea with you. So if I got into a Twitter thing with Tommy Lahren about being pro life versus being pro choice, I will talk about that idea.
Yeah.
I will talk about that policy issue. I'm not going to attack her personally.
Yeah. She's a dumb blonde. Get her off TV. Why
Yeah,
she got a mouthpiece?
there needs to, if we should discuss ideas on the right. I believe that. We
Yeah.
absolutely should. We should have good debate about ideas. What we should not be doing is attacking people personally
I could not
or
agree
questioning their
more. And
motives.
that's literally that's one of the things that I dig about the right is like
Hmm.
there's boatloads of people like you and like myself like yeah let's definitely discuss the ideas. Let's definitely have a good conversation and get in there and figure this stuff out. However, when you start making personal attacks on Candace or personal attacks on Tommy or whoever it is, like you have to ask yourself like are you helping or are you hurting? Are you helping or are you hurting? And hopefully you're doing more helping than hurting.
Hmm.
As we that was a great. This is a good show. I really
We thought it was
I
gonna
didn't I
suck.
didn't think it was gonna be this good. I was like, it'll be a placeholder episode, whatevs. A sad day today. This is kind of like our in memoriam segment because today has not started off well at all. And I don't want to leave you on this, so we'll get into it now. But the guy who Keith Flint, the lead singer, the guy who did Prodigy, the Prodigy, I
Hmm.
guess. You know, I'm a fire starter. That guy killed himself.
Oh,
I guess
was
that's
it
what they're saying
suicide?
now.
I had heard they weren't sure.
I hope he didn't. It's just it's incredibly sad, and I wasn't a huge the Prodigy fan, but I tell you what, there were certain nights as a younger man going out, and when Firestarter came on,
Hmm.
that was it. That was
Well,
it. Like I
Luke
have a
Perry.
strong that and Smack My Bitch Up. We're just like there was just moments where it's like time travel. I go right back to where I was and like
Hmm.
it was gonna be a good night. It was gonna be a good night. So I don't know what happened to Keith Flint and then also Luke Perry from
Hmm.
90210.
He always struck me as like the most genuine member of that cast.
Yeah, he seemed like
Like
a
genuinely good dude.
he was a genuinely good dude, and now I feel bad because I can't remember the guy's name, and I actually did a TV show with him. There was another guy. Oh my gosh, a guy from 90210 who
Ian?
I worked with him. No, I worked with him on the Freddie Prinze show. That's where I met him and his lovely wife.
Jason?
Oh my god, what's the guy's name? And then I worked with him on anger management. I'm gonna look it up. We'll riff until then. Who was the girl? Who was the girl in the Transformers? The insanely beautiful woman.
I have no idea.
Oh come on! Now my phone is going.
I never saw I
As
never saw
people are
those movies. That was my brother's thing.
as people are listening to the show, they're screaming the name at the top of their lungs, and this is
We call that
horrible.
audience participation.
Well, it is. It, go ahead and scream it at the top of your lungs. Okay, that's the movie. I'm literally googling it. Anger management TV show cast. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna have to. Okay, here we go. Selma Blair was on. I just saw that Selma. She was at the. She was at the Oscars. She found out she's got MS, but she still looks fantastic. Do. Okay, are you kidding? Brian Austin Green. Thank the Lord.
Okay.
Brian Austin Green. That guy, insanely funny dude. Super sweet, really great guy. Uh, yeah, he was on Beverly Hills 90210, and just a good
He was
looking
kind of a
dude.
doofus, wasn't he?
He a comedic doofus. He has
Right.
a character that he does, and he was doing this character on the Freddie Prinze Jr. TV show, and
Mm-hmm.
then we had him in Anger Management, and he's just got a wonderful sense of timing. He just cracks me up, and just is a sweet, sweet dude. And his wife is Megan Fox,
Lucky
and they
him.
were yeah, Megan Fox. It was adorable. They were just dating. They're still married. They have kids. Their marriage is working out. But like when they were on, Megan Fox was like nobody. And on the set of the Freddie Prinze Jr. show, Brian Austin Green was on that, and they were dating. And like I had never seen. It was insane the amount of they were just in love, just crazy in love, and it's great. It gives me faith in the institution that
Mm-hmm.
they're still together, and they're a wonderful couple, and she's got pretty good comedic chops too. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure Brian Austin Green will have some kind of statement, and it's just sad that I I don't even know. I guess they're saying he had Luke Perry had a stroke
Well,
and then he
I think
passed
he had a
away.
stroke sometime like maybe a little over a week ago that was pretty severe, and he just never recovered.
Ay, ay, ay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad. It's just sad. Okay. Well, of the things that we're looking forward to, circling back to, we'll be anxious to see what they do with Captain Marvel. It could be an epic fail,
Yeah, I
but
gotta go,
Lisa,
but I'm not excited.
I know. The one I am excited about, and Lisa, the geek mom, who was on our show last week, she just posted a thing to the loftusparty.com, literally just moments ago, about how she's so stoked for Shazam. And there's
Mm-hmm.
a new trailer out for Shazam, and I tell you, that one looks like a mountain of fun. Just a mountain of fun. A little kid trapped in a superhero's body. It's big. It's Superman. It's that one. I'm very much looking forward to Shazam.
Just to be entertained.
Yes,
Yes, don't lecture
yes.
me, just entertain me.
It will be good. All right, you guys. So to recap the show, we have opened up the floodgates on the loftusparty.com. We are green lighting people. There's a ton of you. We apologize again, but we got it figured out. It's working. The key to success in this whole endeavor is sticking together. And you guys have been doing great with that. We're sharing videos, we're sharing links. Tell people about the loftusparty.com, tell them about the podcast, the YouTube channel, all of it. All of it. That is the solution in my mind. This show has always been about solutions. And anyone else is just wasting your time. You don't come here to hear us just bitch, oh woe is me, oh woe is me. So you're doing it, and we've been preaching about this kind of stuff for the longest time. Reach out to other people, let them know what's going on. Get on the loftusparty.com, participate, jump in. We literally have a tab that says jump in.
Right?
It's fun, it's easy, it's all good. Look for upcoming show dates. We're going to be going to Cincinnati, I think on the 13th or 14th. No, Cincinnati is the 15th. And then Columbus, Ohio is on the 17th. That'll be great to be in Ohio in the spring. Those shows, I think Cincinnati and Columbus are going to be huge, like Dubuque was. So thanks for supporting the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, God bless you. We appreciate that. That money's going to good use. Videos are getting better. Everything's getting better. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.